Understanding the stock market, the world's greatest wealth machine explained. Imagine this: do people start their careers on the exact same day? They earn almost the same salary. They work the same number of hours. They both work hard, year after year. But 20 years later, their lives look completely different. One is still living paycheck to paycheck, always worried about the next bill. The other has built wealth, not because they earned a much bigger salary, not because they won the lottery, not because they inherited millions, but because they discovered something that changed the way they looked at money. It wasn't a secret. It wasn't luck. It was a simple financial principle that many people never take the time to truly understand. So how is that possible? How can money make money? The answer begins with understanding one of the greatest financial inventions ever created, the stock market. For many people, those two words sound frightening. Some imagine gambling, others imagine complicated charts. Many think it's only for rich people, but the truth is completely different. The stock market is simply a place where ordinary people can become owners of extraordinary businesses. And today, I'm going to show you exactly how it works. Without complicated financial terms, without confusing charts, just simple explanation that anyone can understand. So let's begin. Chapter 1. Why was the stock market created? Every successful business starts with an idea. Imagine you own a small burger restaurant. At first, it's just one location. You work every day. Your employees know every customer by name. The food is great. People love it. Every weekend, customers line up outside your restaurant. Business keeps growing. Soon, people from nearby cities start asking, when are you coming to our city? We'd love to have one closer to us. You should expand. At first, those comments make you smile, but eventually you begin thinking, maybe they're right. Maybe your little restaurant could become something much bigger. So you start making plans. Not for one restaurant, not for two, maybe even 100 across the country. Then reality hits. Opening new restaurants isn't cheap. You need land, buildings, kitchen equipment, employees, supplies, marketing. Everything costs money, lots of money. So what do? Most business owners have two choices. The first option is to borrow money from a bank. The bank gives you the money, but there's a catch. You must pay interest. Whether business is good or bad, the second option is completely different. Instead of borrowing money, you invite other people to become part owners of your business. You tell them, if you believe in my company, help me grow, invest in my business, and in return you'll own a small piece of the company. Thousands of people decide to invest. Each person owns a very small piece of your company. And with that money, you build more restaurants, hire more employees, serve more customers, grow even faster. This is one of the biggest reasons the stock market exists. It helps businesses grow, and at the same time it gives ordinary people the opportunity to become business owners. Chapter 2. What is a stock? Now here's the next question. When someone says I bought a stock, what did they actually buy? Did they buy a building? Did they buy a restaurant? Did they buy products? Not exactly. They bought ownership. Imagine a pizza. A whole pizza belongs to one person. Now cut that pizza into 100 equal slices. Each slice represents one share. If you own one slice, you own 1% of the pizza. Companies work almost exactly the same way. Instead of pizza slices, they divide ownership into shares. Some companies create millions of shares. Others create billions. When you buy one share, you become one of the owners. Even if your ownership is very small, it's still real ownership. That means when the business grows, your investment has the potential to grow too. Notice something important. Buying a stock is completely different from gambling. When you buy a lottery ticket, you're hoping to get lucky. When you buy a stock, you're buying a real business with real people. Employees working every day, customers buying products and services, money coming into the business. And if the company is managed well, profits. That small difference changes everything. Chapter 3. Becoming an owner. Let's imagine something familiar. Think about your favorite fast food restaurant or your favorite shopping mall. Every day, thousands of people visit. Customers buy food. Families go shopping. Businesses pay rent. Money flows into the company. Now imagine, instead of being only a customer, you also become one of the owners. Every time the company grows, your investment has the opportunity to grow with it. That's one of the most powerful ideas behind investing. You're no longer watching successful businesses from the outside. You're participating in their success. Of course, owning shares doesn't guarantee profits. Every business faces challenges. Competition increases. Customer preferences change. Economic conditions rise and fall. That's why investing isn't about choosing random companies. It's about understanding the businesses you own. And that's exactly why learning the stock market is so important. Chapter 4. Where do people buy and sell stocks? Now we know why companies sell shares, and we know that buying a stock means becoming a part owner of a business. But here's the next question. If millions of people own stocks, where do they actually buy and sell them? The answer is surprisingly simple. Think about a public market. If you want to buy fresh vegetables, you go to the market. If you want to buy clothes, you visit a shopping mall. If you want to buy a house, you contact a real estate agent. Every product has its own marketplace. Stocks are no different. They also have a marketplace. It's called the stock exchange. In the Philippines, that marketplace is known as the Philippine Stock Exchange, or simply the PSE. The PSE doesn't own the companies. It doesn't decide which businesses succeed or fail. Its job is to provide a safe, organized, and transparent marketplace where investors can buy and sell shares. Think of it as the meeting place where buyers and sellers come together. Without the stock exchange, finding someone willing to buy your shares would be extremely difficult. The stock exchange makes investing possible. Chapter 5. Who decides the stock price? Now let's answer one of the biggest questions every beginner asks. Who decides the price of a stock? Is it the company, the government, the stock exchange? The answer is none of them. The price is decided by buyers and sellers. Imagine you own one share of a company. You're willing to sell it for 100 pesos. Now imagine another investor believes that company is worth 100 pesos too. They agree to buy. The transaction happens, and the latest market price becomes 100 pesos. Simple. Now imagine something different. Thousands of investors suddenly believe that company has a bright future. More people want to buy, but the number of available shares stays the same. What happens? Buyers begin offering higher prices. 105 pesos, 110 pesos, 120 pesos. The price rises because demand increases. Now imagine the opposite. Bad news spreads. Investors become nervous. Many decide to sell, but very few people want to buy. Sellers begin lowering their prices. 95 pesos, 90 pesos, 85 pesos. The price falls, not because someone forced it down, but because supply became greater than demand. This simple relationship between buyers and sellers is what moves stock prices every single day. Chapter 6. Why do markets sometimes crash? Sooner or later, every investor experiences a market decline. Sometimes it's caused by economic problems, sometimes by global events, sometimes by fear. Imagine hearing news that a recession might happen. Many investors become worried. Some decide to sell immediately. As more people sell, prices fall. Others see the falling prices and panic too. They sell. Prices fall even further. This creates a chain reaction. But here's something important that many beginners forget. A falling stock price doesn't always mean a company has stopped doing business. Restaurants still serve customers. Banks still provide financial services. Factories still produce goods. Employees still go to work. Sometimes only the emotions of investors have changed. And throughout history, markets have always experienced periods of growth followed by periods of decline, then recovery, then growth again. This cycle has repeated itself for generations. That's why experienced investors don't make decisions based only on fear. They focus on the long-term health of the businesses they own. Chapter 7. Thinking like a smart investor. Now here's something that separates successful investors from everyone else. It isn't how much money they have. It isn't how many stocks they own. It's the way they think. Beginners often ask, which stock will make me rich? Experienced investors ask, what business do I want to own for the next 10 years? That's a completely different mindset. Successful investing isn't about chasing hype. It isn't about buying whatever everyone else is buying. It's about understanding businesses, managing risk, and giving your investments time to grow. Another important lesson is diversification. Imagine carrying 10 eggs in one basket. If the basket falls, everything breaks. Now imagine those eggs are divided into several baskets. If one basket falls, you still have the others. Investing works the same way. Instead of putting all your money into just one company, spread your investments across different businesses, different industries, different opportunities. If one company struggles, the others may continue to grow. That's one of the simplest ways to reduce risk. Chapter 8. The biggest beginner mistakes. Never buy a company just because someone online said it's a good investment. Do your own research. The second, expecting fast profits. Building wealth takes time. Patience is one of the greatest advantages an investor can have. The third, panic selling. Markets rise. Markets fall. That's normal. Successful investors understand that short-term price movements don't always reflect the true value of a business. And finally, never stop learning. The more you understand how businesses operate, the more confident you'll become as an investor. If you found this video helpful, please consider leaving a like and subscribe to JAC-Tv. The goal is to become financially free. This is JAC-Tv. Discipline today, freedom tomorrow. Build wealth. Leave your dream. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.